Man, I can't wait to drive one of these vans.
Hey Drew, I just received your University of Oregon driver's certification card from the Office of Parking and Transportation. Now that we have that in hand, we can train you to drive the zero waste program vehicles, including the step vans.
Who said that? How do you know my name?
Oh, you don't need to worry about that, Drew. What's important is your safety, especially when driving a vehicle. Do you know your responsibilities as the driver or passenger of a state-owned vehicle?
No.
Looks like you need some van safety training. Let's get started.
Alright, yeah, let's go.
All concepts taught here are applicable to all program vehicles, from our large step vans to our small electric vehicles. In this video, you will learn your responsibilities as a driver or passenger of a state-owned vehicle, what to do in case of an accident, defensive driving techniques, backing and spotting policy and techniques. All employees must sign out keys before leaving en route and sign them back in after the route. This process keeps track of who is using the program's keys and vehicles. Always carry your keys with you. Never leave them in the ignition or in the vehicle when parked, as theft can and has occurred. Clip them to your belt loop or key ring when you're not using them.
Alright, my keys are checked out and hooked to my belt. What's next?
Now that your keys are checked out, you can complete the pre-operation vehicle checklist. You just need the checklist, gloves, and a route partner.
Okay.
Here, let's go through every step of the vehicle checklist so we know how to do this properly. The pre-op checklist ensures that all major parts of the vehicle are in working order. The checklist is organized by what you should check first. As you can see, engine oil is the first step on our list. We check engine oil before starting the engine for our own safety and for an accurate reading. The bright yellow cap holds the dipstick. Twist it off, pull it out, and examine where the oil level is. If you find that the oil level is low, make a comment on the vehicle checklist. But if there is a serious concern about any parts of the van, alert a coordinator before you take your vehicle en route. Transmission oil is checked similar to checking the engine oil. Twist off the burgundy cap, pull it out, and examine where the transmission oil level is. Coolant is checked by simply looking at the coolant level in the reservoir. Once all parts of the engine are checked, you can now turn on your vehicle and begin warming it up. Starting the vehicle is a bit different than starting your own car. Put the key in the ignition and turn it one click, at which point the engine gauges and controls will cycle through, which takes 5 to 10 seconds. Once the gauges have resettled and all the lights are off, you can go ahead and start the engine by turning the key one more click. During the warm-up process, you can continue to check the other parts of the van. Leaks are typically evident under the vehicle. Look fully under the vehicle and identify any pools of liquid that you see. If you notice anything, alert a coordinator before heading out en route. Damage could refer to any damage inside or outside the van. It could be that a fan is not working properly, there are dents or dings, or scratches. Windows should be clean and scratch-free. You should also check your mirrors. Ensure that they're not only clean, but that they are set at the proper angle for the person who will be driving the vehicle. All lights should be checked. The headlights, tail lights, the left and right turn signals on the front and the back of the van, and the backup lights. Seatbelts should be in working order. Do not take your vehicle out if your seatbelt appears damaged or broken. If you find that the fuel level is low, a quarter tank or less, take the time to fill the van. Let's go out to the gas pumps and I'll show you how to activate them and refill the van. Here are the steps for refueling a vehicle. Prior to exiting the vehicle cab, you'll need to take 2 items with you to refuel the vehicle. First is the fuel card, which is in the visor pocket above the driver's side. The other is the vehicle keys. All of our vehicles have locking gas caps and you'll need the key to unlock the cap. The next step is to activate the pump system. The fuel card is not physically inserted into the computer. Rather, it contains the information you'll need to respond to the prompts that the computer asks of you. First one is the vehicle number. Look on the card, simply enter the 4-digit vehicle number, and then press enter on the computer. The next item is the employee ID number. Again, enter the 4-digit ID number and press enter. The third item is the employee PIN number. Again, enter the 4-digit PIN number and press enter. The fourth computer prompt will ask you which fuel pump you want to activate. This information is listed at the bottom of your card. It will be either pump 1 or 2. The next step is to remove the nozzle from the side of the pump and shift the triangular lever to the on position. You will now see the fuel gauge reset to 0. Once it is at 0, you are ready to begin refueling. The pump will shut off automatically once the fuel level reaches the full state. You do not need to worry about overfilling the tank, as the pressure-sensitive system will automatically shut off. Once it has shut off, stop refueling. Never attempt to top off the tank. Once you're finished, take the nozzle out of the filler tube, return to the pump, turn the triangular lever to the off position, and reinsert the nozzle in the gas pump. Replace the gas cap, relock it, remove the keys, and you're ready to continue on your way. With your van started, look for any warning lights on the dashboard. One common warning light that you may see is the exhaust gas filter regeneration symbol. If you see this warning light, it's okay to still take your vehicle out en route, but make sure to alert a coordinator about it when you return. Make sure to check the horn, twist the steering wheel back and forth to make sure you don't notice any problems, run the windshield wipers, press the brake pedal to make sure you have firm pressure, and check to make sure that the first aid kit and the accident report package are both present. Once all of this has been checked and you have not encountered any problems, initial the bottom of the checklist for that date and you're ready to go.
We've completed the vehicle checklist. Is there anything else we need to know before we leave?
Yeah, like what are we responsible for when we head out en route?
Ah, I like your enthusiasm. Let's start with you, Drew, the driver. You're responsible for driving our program vehicle safely. The vehicle you'll be driving the most is our 2008 Freightliner MT43 step van. Each van comes complete with a 200 horsepower engine that provides 520 foot-pounds of torque. With that in mind, it takes extra levels of caution to arrive at your destination safely. This means taking it slow, using your turn signals and lights, and being cautious, courteous, and alert while driving. Although our vans have flat leaf suspension to provide a solid, stable ride, they have a higher center of gravity, and rollovers are a greater concern than they are in a car, especially when the van is fully loaded. When driving, you will observe all posted speed limit signs and operate vehicles in accordance with applicable laws and state regulations. Remember, when you're driving a program vehicle, you're representing not only the Campus Zero Waste program, but also the University of Oregon. Any tickets you receive will appear on your personal driving record. Also, if you're required to file an accident report with the State Department of Motor Vehicles, that report will also go on your personal driving record. Any fines are your personal responsibility, including parking tickets. Before you depart on your trip, make sure you have your driver's license and your U of O driver's certification card with you. Before heading off, ensure that your load is secure, the liftgate is put away all electronic devices such as music devices, headphones, and cell phones. Then, close all doors, buckle your seatbelt, and ensure that your passenger has his or her seatbelt buckled as well. Cell phones are not to be used at all, either by the driver or the passenger while driving. Ignorance of cell phone laws is not an excuse for using one while driving. Occasionally, a coordinator may call you or your partner to issue additional service instructions while you're on your route. If that happens, do not answer while driving. Rather, let the call ring through and call the coordinator back once you've safely pulled over and stopped driving. When pulling up to a stop sign, ensure that you come to a complete stop. Do not roll through the stop sign. Finally, you are responsible for alerting the operations manager of any driving status changes. Blind spots are a greater concern on our vans than they are with the passenger car. From the driver's perspective, we can see that our path is clear and so are our lateral sides. But what we're not seeing are the huge barrels in our blind spots. Our vans are also heavier, taller, wider, and longer than cars. With that in mind, you should always drive at slower speeds, give yourself more distance for stopping, take wider turns, and spot to gauge overhead clearances. There may be occasions when you feel well enough to work, but not quite well enough to drive. If and when that occurs, alert your supervisor. It's okay to say no to driving. Your safety and the safety of others is more important. The passenger, or spotter, is the second set of eyes and ears for the driver. Not only will you be backing up the van, which I'll cover later, but you will also be spotting the front and assisting during lane changes or turns. During routes, the driver will have to maneuver around tight areas. Don't guess if you can fit through a tight area. It's your job as a spotter to get out and communicate with the driver if the van can safely maneuver around the obstacle. When you're en route, you'll bring all necessary maps needed for the buildings you will service. You will also legibly tally the number of barrels serviced if you're on a van route. If you must, ask the driver to wait a couple of seconds so you can record the numbers legibly. You will also keep the cabin clean. Make sure your route slip, pen, and gloves are not on the dashboard where they can slide and fall off during transport. Student recyclers are never to back any program vehicle any distance without a spotter. Successful backing and successful spotting involves good judgment and communication. Let's start with the driver. Before moving, communicate with your spotter where you will be backing up. This way, your spotter will not be guessing where you want to go. You must have visual contact of your spotter. If your spotter is not visible during backup, stop. Do not continue until you can see your spotter. It is the driver's responsibility to check both lateral sides of the van when backing up by constantly checking both mirrors. If you find that your spotter is using inadequate hand signals and is not communicating well, tell them. If you, the driver, hit something while backing up, it is your fault, not the spotter's. You should take your time when backing up. Your goal isn't to pull into a spot perfectly the first time. Rather, it's to do it safely. This means taking it slow so you're not rushing your spotter, and if conditions require, using multiple attempts when backing up. When backing up to a dock, stop the van 8 to 10 feet from the dock. Then have the spotter lower the lift gate. Then continue backing. Approach the rubber bumper, but do not contact it. The rubber bumpers are for vans or trailers without lift gates. You run the risk of damaging the program's equipment. It's okay to leave a several-inch gap between the lift gate and the dock. The wheels on our hand trucks have a diameter of 8 5/8 inches, so you can easily roll over the gap. The spotter needs to work with the driver when backing up a program vehicle. If you don't know where your driver wants to back up and face, ask them. Once ready, stand in the driver's side mirror. If you cannot see the driver's face in the mirror, the driver cannot see you and will stop. Always remain visible in the driver's side mirror. As a spotter, you are responsible for stopping the van when needed. You will need to use effective and clear hand signals to help the driver maneuver into position. Inadequate hand signals can make it difficult for the driver to see what message you are conveying. Here, let's go over the hand signals you will be using. Starting the backing maneuver. To tell the driver to move backwards, clearly move your arms up and down. Using inadequate finger lifting will not suffice. For you drivers, never start backing up until the spotter has given you the signal to do so. Stopping the backing maneuver. Tell the driver to stop moving. Hold out both hands in front of you, exposing the palms of your hands. If a driver does not stop, alert them by either yelling or hitting the side of the van. Turning. To turn left or right, point your arm in the direction the van should go and wave with your other arm, telling the driver which direction to turn. In congested areas, you may need to wait before backing up. Pedestrians and cyclists always have the right of way. Use good judgment on when to back up. Most accidents at the Zero Waste program occur at low speeds in congested areas. They are a result of a failure to successfully maneuver around, between, or near fixed objects. All of these accidents can be avoided with successful spotting, both behind and in front of the van. The University of Oregon has nearly 25,000 students and another 4,500 faculty and staff. The streets in front of you can become very congested, especially when students get out of class. When your area gets congested, stop. Don't push your way through the crowd with the van. This poses a hazard for pedestrians, cyclists, and you. Instead, pull over and wait for the area to clear up. If you're the first person to arrive at a red light, do not immediately go when the light turns green. Cars may still be in the intersection or will enter the intersection to avoid stopping for a red light. Driving is not a race either. It's everyone's responsibility to make sure we all get to our destinations safely. Give cyclists the right of way, especially at stop signs, and give pedestrians the right of way even if you both arrive at a crosswalk at the same time.
Dude, what do you like more? Melons or peaches?
I like melons more than peaches, I think.
I like peaches more. I don't care what you say, peaches are better than melons. End of conversation.
Okay.
I win?
Yeah.
Also, both of you should work together in keeping the cabin a calm place. When you're in the van, you must both focus on driving. Your trips will usually be 4 minutes or so in length. Don't let distractions lead to accidents. Conversation is okay, but the driver must focus on the road. The 3-second rule is a simple way to double check that you're driving at a safe following distance. Choose a fixed point that is even with the car in front of you. For example, a road sign or a building. If you reach that same fixed point before you can count to 3, then you are driving too close to the car in front of you and you need to fall back a bit. The 3-second rule allows for a safe following distance when the road is dry and straight. You should slow down and increase your following distance anytime rain, snow, ice, or other hazardous road conditions present themselves. Use headlights whenever weather conditions or darkness require their use. If in doubt, turn them on. They may not help you see better, but they will help other drivers to see you. Alright, let's go over parking your program vehicle properly. All program vehicles will comply with public and campus parking regulations. Failure to do so will result in a parking ticket, which is the personal responsibility of the driver. Our program vehicles are allowed to park in these spaces. Spaces marked State Service Vehicles Only, metered spaces for free, but only for the duration of the meter limit, against the curb in the closed section of 13th Street, at any loading dock or in any loading zone, commercial vehicle spaces, but only for the posted time limit. Our program vehicles are never allowed to park in these areas. Spaces marked reserved, accessible parking spaces, areas where you're not allowed to park, across driveways, sidewalks, or curb cutouts, in pedestrian crossings, or in any way such that another vehicle is blocked or prevented from moving. Just remember, don't leave your engine idling when you park, as you may be near a building air intake system. And never leave the keys in the ignition or in the vehicle. Again, always take the keys with you. With an area of 27 square feet having the capacity to lift 1,600 pounds, this lift will serve as a useful tool for you as you complete your routes. Let me show you how to use it. The first step is removing the safety chain from its hook. From there, you electronically raise the gate to clear the notch on the lever. Once raised, lift the safety latch lever and manually lower the gate to its horizontal position. To maintain the integrity of our program equipment, do not let the lift gate slam down to the horizontal position. Doing so can damage the gate, leaving the program with a hefty repair bill. Once lowered carefully, you can electronically lower the gate with the instrument panel. In some vans it may be a button, in others it's a lever. You can't drive around with the lowered lift gate. It's dangerous and illegal. When you go to close the gate, electrically raise the gate to the top position. Then manually tilt the gate into the locked position. The lift gate's assembly will ensure that the gate opens and closes the safety latch. Once secured, electrically lower the gate until it is at rest, and then hook the safety chain.
Look out!
An accident is any event involving an impact between a programmed vehicle and any other object, which may cause damage to the vehicle itself, another vehicle, a stationary object, or injury to a person. All accidents must be reported to program staff as soon as possible. When an accident occurs, perform the following steps. First, attend to any injured persons. Remember, you have a first aid kit in the cabin of the van. If injuries are serious, call 911. Next, call a coordinator. Call as many as is necessary until you reach one personally. The coordinator will discuss with you the nature of the incident and will determine whether or not he or she should arrive on scene. Remain at the scene until the coordinator arrives, unless the coordinator has told you to return to the work site. An accident report packet will be filled out, either by you and the supervisor on the scene or afterwards in the office. Remember, any citation received while driving, including as a result of an accident, will appear on your personal driving record. You may be responsible for filing a State of Oregon traffic accident and insurance report, regardless of whether or not citations are issued, and even when damage may seem minor. Your driver's certification card verifies that you can legally operate a State of Oregon vehicle. That card, however, is based upon your driving record at the time it's issued. Any change in your driving record could result in the revocation of that card. It's important that you notify the operations manager anytime a new entry is made on your driving record. Generally, this involves moving violations only. It does not involve parking tickets. Lastly, if your driver's license is revoked or suspended for any reason whatsoever, even if temporarily, you must immediately notify the operations manager that you are not a licensed driver. This does not affect your job, but you will not be allowed to drive for the program. Remember, getting to your destination safely starts with you. Accidents can occur at any time, and it is your duty to look out for yourself and others. With your new knowledge, you will be fully capable of safely driving programmed vehicles.